A while back, some folks had a big idea. They sent a bunch of people, along with a smart computer called I.O., to the moon. Their mission? Fix up the moon, make it nice, and come up with cool tech to save Earth. Fast forward 3 generations, and the moon people have it made. They built this awesome place called Moonhaven, a sweet society with loads of good stuff. They're living the good life, while folks back on Earth are still dealing with all the bad stuff. One chilly night in Moonhaven, a girl named Chill swipes a strange gadget and takes off running. Nevertheless, she gets apprehended and fatally harmed by her boyfriend, Strigo, who seizes the peculiar device from her. The next day, 2 patrolling law enforcers named Arlo and Paul stumble upon the lifeless body of a woman in an open area. Utilizing a sophisticated tracking device, they confirm her identity as Chillspan, the woman from the previous night. The incident shocks them profoundly, marking the first ever murder in Moonhaven. Without delay, the duo sets out to hunt down the culprit, leading to the swift arrest and confinement of Strigo. However, during a visit to his cell for questioning, he violently assaults one of the officers and promptly flees. Subsequently, we encounter the main character, Bella Sway, a seasoned pilot. Her mission involves transporting Indira Mare, the envoy of I.O., and a high-ranking Earth official, along with her protector, Tom, to the moon for an important executive visit. Before their journey begins, Tom strikes up a conversation with Bella, easing the tension and building a friendly rapport. Shortly after, Indira joins them, and the trio sets off on their voyage to the moon. On board the spacecraft, Bella gets a call from JT, an Earth friend, who asks her to bring back a psychedelic drug called Singer from the moon. Initially hesitant, Bella eventually agrees after JT insists persistently. As the aircraft finally lands on the moon following a lengthy trip, Bella stays on board while Indira, accompanied by Tom, heads out for a meeting with Mate, the ruler of the human society on the moon, who chairs the council. An hour later, Bella notices a bird diving into a nearby lake, dropping a package before disappearing. She retrieves the package and brings it inside the spaceship. Upon opening the package, Bella discovers the Singer, the item she was asked to smuggle back to Earth. Just as she hides the package in a secret compartment, she notices 2 policemen at the aircraft's door through the surveillance cameras. Intrigued, she lets them in. It turns out these officers are the same ones who investigated Chill's murder, and they're here to question Bella. She's bewildered about being involved but complies and accompanies them to their modest station. At the precinct, Bella learns the shocking news that her sister Chill was murdered the day before. Strangely, this news doesn't affect Bella much as she never knew of her sister's existence since her mother left for the moon right after Bella was born. In the subsequent scene, Paul escorts Bella to meet Chill's adoptive sister, Asus, who witnessed the murder and wishes to convey a message to Bella. Asus shares details about their mother and sister before informing Paul that there was another witness present at the crime scene besides her. Upon hearing about the second witness, Paul and Bella rush back to the scene, hoping to find some clues. While there, they notice someone observing them from the woods. Without hesitation, they sprint after the mysterious figure. Their chase leads them to a wall marking the boundary between the habitable human area and the rest of the moon. Despite Paul's warnings, Bella ventures past it, squeezing through a nearby gap to pursue the stalker. However, as soon as she emerges outside the demarcated zone, the low oxygen levels overwhelm her, causing her to feel dizzy. She collapses, unable to move far due to the scarce oxygen. When she comes to, she discovers herself in an unfamiliar house. Curious, she explores and finds Paul and his family having lunch. Bella joins them, intrigued by their culture. She learns about their unique lunar cuisine and the rituals they perform for grieving families. When it's her turn, she shares stories about life on Earth, describing the challenging conditions people endure there. In another part of Moonhaven, Indira meets with Maite, the council chair. She delivers news that I.O.'s algorithm suggests a change in Moonhaven's council leadership. Even though the current administration still has 2 years left, Maite reacts strongly, feeling upset by the suggestion, arguing she hasn't done anything to warrant an early end to her rule. Indira acknowledges Maite's feelings, but stresses I.O.'s knack for accurate predictions, and advises her to step down before Earth's authorities intervene. Meanwhile, back at the aircraft, Bella notices a warning about a system intruder flashing on her screen. Investigating, she discovers Strigo lurking in a corner, and quickly immobilizes him with a taser. Before she can decide her next move, Tom calls out to her from another part of the aircraft, diverting her attention. Bella joins Tom, and he starts a casual yet heartwarming conversation with her. In a sudden turn of events, Strigo joins the room and informs Tom about completing his project. Tom's demeanor shifts drastically. He shoots Strigo on the spot, ending his life, and then launches an attack on Bella. A fierce struggle ensues between them, with Tom initially overpowering her. However, in a desperate move, Bella grabs the singer and injects Tom with it, stunning and incapacitating him. The next sequence finds a terrified Bella leaving the aircraft and encountering Paul. Alarmed by Bella's distress, Paul administers a sedative, causing her to collapse in his arms. When she regains consciousness, she discovers herself inside a tent, triggering panic as she searches for a way out. Pushing against the tent's side, she unexpectedly plunges through and lands in water. It dawns on her that the tent was actually isolated in a vast sea. Back on the spaceship, Indira conducts a virtual meeting with Earth's council, updating them on recent events on the moon. She shares details about Strego and Chill's murders, along with the attack on Tom. The council is outraged by these developments and speculates that Strego might be responsible for Tom's assault, raising concerns about the Mooners turning against Earth. With the impending return of the first group of Mooners for Earth's restoration process in a couple of weeks, the fear intensifies. Indira attempts to reassure the council, asserting her control over the situation, but skepticism lingers. Later that day, Paul takes a canoe to visit Bella. Upon entering the tent, Bella instinctively attacks him, fearing harm. Paul quickly clarifies that he brought her there for safety, not harm, aiming to protect her from the chaos unfolding on the moon. Bella, finally calming down upon Paul's assurance, hesitates to reveal the truth about the previous night's events involving Tom and Strego. Fearful of being exposed for smuggling Singer, she fabricates a story, attributing Tom's state to Strego injecting him with the drug. Paul senses something off, but chooses to trust her account. Before departing, he discloses that Tom is alive and recovering at the ship thanks to Io's intervention. Meanwhile, Indira pays a visit to Mighty's residence, urging her to step down and hand over Io's key to the next council chair. However, Mighty stands firm, refusing to relinquish power and denying Indira's request. In another scene, Bella relocates to a different tent some distance away from the initial one. She seizes a nearby canoe and paddles for over an hour, eventually reaching shore after her escape. Bella's attempt to find her way back to the spaceship leads to her getting lost and eventually captured by the Mooners. She's taken to the city's station, where she's kept in a state resembling sleep. Coincidentally, Paul is also present at the station and decides to use their advanced technology to explore her memories, particularly witnessing her experiences during wartime when she served as a pilot. However, the violence in these memories disturbs him, causing him to shut off the feed. He then examines her call records and discovers her conversation with JD, confirming her involvement in smuggling. Armed with this evidence, Paul awakens Bella from her state and brings her in for intensive questioning. Confronted with the incriminating evidence, Bella admits to the smuggling but denies using the Singer against Tom. Paul, upon hearing her confession, decides to take her to the Moon Council for a trial to determine her fate. During the big meeting, some people wanted Bella to go back to a sleepy state, and others said she should go back to Earth. But then, Paul spoke up. He told everyone about what he saw in Bella's memories, and said she's kind of broken inside. He said Mooners are supposed to help people like her from Earth. Paul asked if he could take care of Bella instead of any other choices. The council agreed because they were moved by what Paul said. So, Bella got set free. After the meeting, Paul took care of Bella. When they got to his home, she finally told him everything. She admitted she was the one who used that Singer thing on Tom, but she said she did it to protect herself. Paul appreciated that she told the truth. He gave her a bag with a box that belonged to her sister inside. Inside the box were things that belonged to her mom, including a weird-looking thing that could show pictures or something. As they powered up the device, a message recorded by Chill flickered to life, delivering a startling warning. She revealed that the Mooners had no intention of saving Earth and labeled the bridge, their passage to Earth, as a treacherous trap. Paul and Bella were speechless, transfixed by the dire message. The next morning, Paul hurried to his partner Arlo's home, sharing the chilling details of Chill's warning. Paul was shaken by the gravity of the situation, but Arlo offered solace, assuring him they'd uncover the truth in due time. As Paul left, he encountered a young woman in an officer's uniform. She introduced herself as Blue, his assigned apprentice, trailing behind him silently as he departed. Meanwhile, Bella sought out Indira to disclose shocking news about Tom. She revealed Tom's duplicitous nature, collaborating with rebel Mooners to disrupt the bridge. Bella recounted the night of the attack, narrating how Tom had targeted her upon realizing she witnessed a conversation between him and Strego. Despite Bella's earnest attempt, Indira remains unconvinced, staunchly defending Tom's loyalty. The narrative shifts to a flashback in Indira's past, situated at an IO training facility. A young Indira befriends another student named Basta, forming an instant and tight bond. Life at the facility is tranquil, until it faces a sudden attack by terrorists. Seeking refuge, Indira and Basta hide in a concealed room, only to be swiftly discovered by one of the assailants. To Indira's disbelief, Basta sides with the attacker, revealing her allegiance to the terrorist group. Back in the present, Bella retrieves the package that once held the singer from her ship and presents it to Paul. He scrutinizes the object but struggles to derive meaning from its unmarked surface. Bella's mention of a bird delivering it triggers a revelation in Paul. Realizing the origin of the package, he rushes Bella to a craft shop where Mooners assemble robotic delivery birds. As they enter the shop, Bella's eyes lock onto a pelican-shaped design reminiscent of the one that delivered the singer package. Suspicion weighs heavy in her gaze as she focuses on the craftsman responsible. Suddenly, the man dashes out of the shop and bolts into a nearby forest. Bella takes off after him, with Paul following closely behind. After a tense pursuit, they manage to apprehend the fleeing craftsman, Searle, and bring him in for interrogation. At the precinct, they press Searle for information about his collaborators, but he remains stubbornly uncooperative, denying any involvement. Attempting to lure him into revealing more, Bella fabricates that Tom has regained consciousness and will expose the secrets of the Mooner rebels. However, Searle maintains his silence and is eventually released due to the lack of evidence. As Searle exits, Paul instructs Blue to discreetly keep an eye on him in case of any suspicious behavior. Later that day, Paul and Bella engage in a heated argument regarding the intentions of the Mooners. Bella is convinced that some Mooners, with Tom's help, aim to sabotage the bridge to maintain their utopia away from Earth. However, Paul, unwavering in his trust for his people, adamantly defends the Mooners, refusing to believe they would do such a thing. In the ensuing scene, Maite and Indira step into the I/O authorization chamber, a crucial space that allows access to Moonhaven for foreign aircraft. The process demands the unanimous approval of both leaders. The leaders initiate the authorization sequence, anticipating the imminent arrival of a fleet of aircraft set to transport the first group of Mooners back to Earth. However, just as they reach the final stage, Maite experiences a change of heart and abruptly withdraws her consent. She exits the chamber without providing any explanation, leaving Indira bewildered. Confused and concerned, Indira promptly reports the unexpected turn of events to the Earth Council. Anxiety heightens among the council members, as patience wears thin on Earth. The population anticipates the Mooners' arrival to aid in the planet's recovery. In the next scene, Bella, Paul, and Paul's daughter Elna take a stroll through the woods when a distress signal from Blue suddenly reaches Paul. They swiftly follow the signal and discover Blue lying among some shrubs in the forest. Blue recounts a harrowing encounter with Searle, who caught her spying and attempted to harm her. Fortunately, Blue fought back, successfully incapacitating him. The group assists her to her feet, and together they trace Searle's path to a nearby cave. In the cave, they make a startling discovery. Some Mooners have removed their implants, small pebble-like trackers that enable I/O to monitor their movements. This act renders them untraceable. As they ponder the reason behind this move, they deduce that Searle must have divulged information about Tom's recovery. Realizing the Mooners' intentions to attack Tom, Bella and Paul waste no time. Accompanied by a squad of officers, they head to Indira's house to safeguard Tom, who remains in a coma. The following morning unfolds with tension as a masked Mooner strikes one of the guarding officers outside the house, sedating her. The episode concludes with the rest of the group cautiously surrounding the house, preparing for a potential ambush. Thanks for watching, guys.